Oh, it started. Right. That's so funny. I did not know this. All right, chalo, कोई बात नहीं. It's great. All right. All right. So I just came back after playing soccer, as footballs, a lot of people say. And honestly, I'm 36 and I still play football like kids do. And probably with younger people around 22, 23. And I love it, because I just feel young. And I'm so thankful to God, that He has given me at least good health that I can still play my favorite game and still run around, still shoot, still dribble. And it's kind of just amazing that at this age I can do this. But to be very honest, it has been, my life has been a big struggle overall. And I think people who are generally at this stage of life, they are, I believe, most confused because in your 20s, you do have something, right? You have a lot of time. You just started with your college or something, and then you look at girls and then feel like, oh, you're not married, so you take interest in them. And you have so much to do. You can party, you meet with your friends a lot of time. But by the time you go into your late 20s and early 30s, everybody around you is probably getting married, right? Or having some sort of relationship where they get busy with life, they have their proper jobs. Now they might be in one level higher positions where they don't get a lot of time. And slowly you tend to have a smaller social life, I guess, right? Because previously, as a, I'm not sure about how girls do it, but for guys, it's very simple, right? Go out with friends, go clubbing, drinking, whatever you do, uh, go to restaurants, whatever, right? It just makes sense at that time. But in your 30s, you have a lot of pressure because your family is starting, you start having kids, and you have financial burden, you have family burden, you have so much on your plate, right? And if you are employed somewhere, obviously, then there's a job pressure where a lot of times you don't know whether you're going to sustain that job or not. Because specifically, if you're in a highly commercial market, somewhere where the volatility is very high, right? And it's very difficult for people to start a business at this stage because obviously you're earning good enough, but you feel like it's not enough, right? And then you do not have that option to leave the job and start building a business for yourself. And then eventually you feel stuck, right? Because obviously your family would expect food on their table, right? And for me, I was a teacher for a very long time, for good 8, 9 years, right? And to be honest, I hated that job. Not because I don't like kids, I like teaching. The nature of job is sort of, there's no, sometimes you want to go ahead, but it seems like you're stuck in one position because you could, I was teaching college kids, right? And schools pay really well at that stage, right? But then you feel like everybody's moving ahead in your life and then you're just stuck there. And that's a very, very, bad feeling. If I don't know how I can explain that to you, but it's really, really bad feeling, right? And you're basically teaching the same syllabus all over again, and there's no progression in your life, and you're feeling that you're just in one place and there's no growth left, right? And sometimes, you know, because teaching is sort of a, I believe it's kind of a job where it is highly dependent on you. And if you get sick, uh, God forbid something bad happened to you, then it's done, because that's the whole business, right? If you're not there, nobody can actually just go and teach on your behalf and still pay you, right? It doesn't happen like that. So back in the day, I started a couple of businesses. There were one or two businesses that are highly successful, and I always wanted to start a sort of a digital agency, right? And I think I started that digital agency properly in early 2025. And to this day, I feel like it was the hardest thing I've done in my life. And honestly, people would tell you that there's a lot of money in anything that is digital, specifically when it comes to marketing, software development, data analytics, AI. But to be very honest, it's one of the hardest, you know, businesses that you can run as a service, because not only you need to consistently get clients, but you also need to learn a lot, because there are different functions of the business, right? Since I was afraid that I would do a business that's not dependent on me, but it's kind of dependent, because if the founder like me wants to do sales, then he can't be doing development at the same time or marketing at the same time, right? And then things change so quickly that you can't keep up, right? So you need people to deliver whatever projects you get, right? So to be very honest, and I'll just tell the truth, right? A lot of people just tend to give you wrong advice all the time. And I'm going to just be very, very honest with you. When I started, the very first thing I did was I just told everybody, right? Everybody in my circle, people in my office, my friends, my family, their friends, that I've started this business. And if they would like to, get help in their marketing or software development, I'm right there, right? And the biggest mistake at that time I made was that I did not pick a niche. Now, a niche basically means that a certain area that you want to work with, which has at least enough customers that you can sustain the business, right? And I just wanted to, make it successful. So I thought it's great to just do everything for everybody, right? And I was gaining skills, right? I was gaining skills. I was trying to learn how to run Google Ads, how to run Meta Ads. I had previous experience running them for my own company, so that was a good thing. But then I had to learn coding, and I went through WordPress, I went through Webflow, I went through custom coded websites on Next.js. And while I was doing that, obviously I was not focusing on the business development part of my business, right? And that was suffering. Apart from just telling people around me to give me referrals, right? So I remember I got 6 projects initially, right? And lucky me, thank God. Lucky me that I got 6 projects. But I was, because this company that I had started wasn't making any money, right? So I was trying to, just get the projects either for free or at a very low price, right? And in my mind, it was like, I'll just try to provide them the best value. And then when I do, they're going to refer me to other people, right? So that's one thing that usually people do, right? But when you're into this business, you can make great websites, but websites are not something that converts on its own, right? So you have to do its SEO, you have to do a lot of content marketing, you have to do a lot of social media to bring in the traffic where people would buy from you, right? And obviously, I can't be good at everything. So I did not know anything about social media designing or logo designing or post designing or video editing, right? Nothing like that, right? And even today, I don't know about video editing. And I'm doing this live because I don't want to edit this video after I shoot this, right? So I hate it. And people would pay me pennies and they would expect that I give them the quality of an agency that charges like thousands of dollars, right? And to satisfy them, I hired good people, marginally good. I'd be honest about that. And I try to give them some sort of value, but then obviously because they would look at other pages which were maintained by video editors or post editors, which were paid a couple of $100,000 every year, and now our video editors were basically better than juniors, and but they were not as good as them, so we wouldn't be, we weren't able to provide them the quality, right? And that's one thing that I understood at that time, that it's not sustainable, right? To charge for a service extremely low that requires external help as well. So if you think that you're good at something, just pick that particular thing and market that, because then the quality control will be on you and you will have a better price negotiation as well, even if you get a project for a low price but you're doing it, which obviously I'm not in a favor of that. I'll tell you later why. But that's one thing that kind of destroys the business, because you're not making enough money to generate more inbound leads, and you are trying to give the top notch service with people that you can't pay for, right? So that doesn't make that business model doesn't make sense, right? So eventually, none of those businesses let us go, because I was spending my savings to retain good designers, good video editors, good marketers, to give them the value that some other agency would charge $1,000 for that, right? Eventually, it was so bad that I had to just let them go, right? I said, I can't work like this. I can't burn through my savings, honestly. And that was the first quarter of 2025, and the business was new. So I did not know what exactly to do with it, but that's how it went, right? In the next 2 quarters, I had no money, literally no money. I did not know how I could go and find clients, right? So in the first 3 months, I watched, I think, hundreds of YouTube videos, people telling, and you would actually find those thumbnails, right? Do this in 2026 and you would just get rich, or follow my method or buy my course, stuff like that, right? And to be honest, it's all bullshit. It doesn't work. Nothing works actually. And I'll tell you something very important today, right? And that's my own advice. Well, it's not an advice. You shouldn't take any advices, right? I My most successful business that makes a lot of money for me is online tutoring business that I have. Somebody else runs it, right? But it makes me good amount of money that I can sustain, right? And in that business, I realized that it was successful because I knew how to get the clients. I knew I was a teacher, right? A physics teacher that made that business successful, right? Now, suppose that if today you see my business as an example and you say, okay, I'm going to start an online tutoring business, right? A lot of people, even if I tell you how to start it, if I tell you this is how you would get clients, if I tell you this is how you should market yourself, you still won't get clients. And I'm telling you with my own experience because I have run a couple of businesses, right? The point of getting customers is not by some method, right? It's not by some process or some course that you buy online or somebody telling you that this is 3 steps you're going to take and you're going to get a lot of customers, right? It really depends on a lot of different factors, right? I became a teacher because I was employed as, I became a teacher and then that helped me grow a business related to teaching, right? Now, if you are somebody who's probably a carpenter, right? And you today decide that you see this video and say, okay, this guy has a very successful business in tutoring world and I could do the same just listening to him. Well, the whole dynamics, my life, the contacts I have in the tutoring industry, the people I hang out with, uh, the kind of students I teach, you don't know any of them, right? How could you replicate my business? You cannot. And that's the truth of it. That nobody can tell you that this is the path to be successful, right? If that was true, then everybody who's watching that video, with millions of views, every person would be a millionaire like the person telling you how to be a millionaire, right? And that's what is funny. Now, when you don't follow this advice and you're like, I don't honestly, I still feel like that these people can make me successful, right? You'd learn a very hard way that these people are just trying to give you a free value because either they're building their authority in this space or they want to sell you something or they're just doing their SEO and getting clients through other means. And you're still somebody pretty confused, right? And businesses are all about, I think, hit and trial, right? So I'll be honest with you, right? For my web development and marketing business, I started in age of AI when AI was booming, and that's 2025 when Dario Amodei was telling everybody that every marketer, every developer, programmer is going to lose their job in 6 months or 18 months or 12 months, right? Where Sam Altman was saying everybody's going to lose their job, right? And people were viewing AI as something that's going to change the world. Well, it has changed the world, but not in a better way, right? It's created so much uncertainty that companies are afraid to even hire people because they don't know, right? If we should hire a person right now or we shouldn't hire a person at all, right? That's the point. I started the business in this particular age, right? That I believe made finding clients 10 times harder. So I I realized that actually, oh, I'm getting a call. I don't know why I'm getting a call. All right, so forget about that. So I was saying that finding clients in this day and age so much harder, right? So much harder that I literally followed each and every advice. Honestly, I found one guy telling me that the best way to find clients is through LinkedIn networking, right? And you have no idea how many messages I've sent, right? And then there's another guy tells me, you know what? Your messaging, your offer is weak. You gotta give value first, right? Yeah, you gotta give um, something in return, right? And people are gonna jump and buy from you. It's like, okay, well, that's great. And to learn about offers, what you gotta do? You gotta read some books, and those books cost you money, right? And honestly, if you see on my shelf, I'm just gonna move a little bit here. I have every goddamn freaking self-help book right there, right? It's right there, as you can see, right? And I've read it. All three Alex Hormozzi's books. Dan Cartel, um, the guy with, that's loud guy. I can't even remember the pathetic book I read. And there's so much stuff I read. I can't believe I've read so much, right, of this bullshit. And I realize all these methods, everybody in the world, they're using the same thing, right? Everybody in the world, honestly. And people are sick and tired because the emails as a founder I get on my other business, every single email is a copy paste from Alex's book, right? And that's funny, because Alex, when he started his business, he said, I slept on gym floor and I had no money. But bro, you were into that industry, right? And honestly, you knew people who could help you, who knew you and they wanted to buy from you, right? Don't give this crap to everybody else who don't know anybody in the gym industry, right? The same method doesn't apply everywhere. And you got lucky that somebody told you, yeah, I want to transform my gym, right? And you delivered. That's the point, right? So everybody's finding that one client that can give them enough money so they can demonstrate their skills, hire good people, and do something, right? And they are literally doing all this because they're looking at people like Andrew Tate, people like that Dan something, right? The Chinese guy, right? They're looking at people having Lamborghinis, Ferraris, going to Dubai 3 times, and then vacationing in Thailand, living their life in Bali, right? Going to Las Vegas, enjoying their life, right? And they're becoming unhappy, right? That's the core issue here, right? Because the point I want to make here is that every person has a different unique life that they have been bestowed upon by God, right? and has different variables, different dynamics. This is why the world is so beautiful, right? So because everybody is a different person, and he's gonna live a complete different life altogether. They're not gonna be the same, right? Then how is it possible that one method that somebody's telling you will work for you because it worked for them? It's not possible. And you just need to develop something around you, right? And it could be anything that is in your life right now, in your location right now. And if you stick to it, you start building it, improving, thinking, how can I make it better every single day? Eventually, you will get opportunities because of your luck that would take your business from 1x to 100x. And you wouldn't even know about that, right? Because it's not in your hands, right? The first client I got, I don't know how I got the first client. It was all random. And I did not even market for that. It was just random. Somebody saw my video talking about something on my other channel that's about law firms. And they just contacted me out of nowhere. That's the point. I don't know how they contacted me, why they contacted me. They just contacted me. But when I asked them, I knew that this is what works for me, not Alex Homrosi or anybody who's telling you that this is the finality of things, right? And when people try to rent their brain sort of to anybody else, you lose the game, because now you're not different. You're just trying to follow a person who's not you, right? You're completely different. Your dynamics are different, right? That's the point of it. So I believe that if I had started my business in 20s, I would be much more successful today. Like, I would have built it way bigger than it is today because I would have less worries, more time. But starting a business is not age dependent, I believe. It depends on the factors, right, that you have. And not starting a business is also okay, because not everybody wants to start a business. They just get told by other people that business is so easy. When you know, start a business, you have all that, freedom, and the financial freedom and the time freedom, and you can give all your time to your family. Well, that's not true. Honestly, that's not true. You get stuck. Business is very, very hard, honestly. It is time intensive, it's capital intensive, it is high stress job. But the point of all this is that don't quit your job because somebody told you online that 9 to 5 is the worst thing ever. You could actually do something amazing with your life within staying there in your job, right? And you could be tremendously happy. And you might regret starting business, right? And you might also regret not starting a business. That really depends on your life. And that really depends on you, who you are, where you live, what kind of people you hang out with, right? Can you help them or can you not help them? It's a lot of different factors. And I don't think that you should have a linear brain. Talking to AI, hey ChatGPT, I want to start my catering business tomorrow. What do you think I should do? What do you think ChatGPT is going to tell you? It's just going to go through certain websites, few videos or the information it has collected, it's gonna spill out some bullshit, right? That's just worse than average advice. So it will say, you know what, in 30 days you gotta do this, in next 60 days you gotta do this, in 90 days you'll get your first client. No, you're not gonna get your first client. You might start a business tomorrow and you might sign up an enterprise client, honestly. And you might start a business tomorrow and you might not find even a single client next years. It really is not that simple, right? That ChatGPT is going to tell you, or somebody online is going to tell you. So the best advice that I have for anybody today is to be thankful to God, to be very honest, right? Whatever you have, right? Because once you start thanking God, you get happy with yourself as well. And your brain starts to understand and it has more clarity than before. And honestly, you should be thankful about everything, even, drawing breath, because you're basically taking oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. And that's that's something it's amazing, right? People are just lying on bed, right? They're on ventilators. You're not. You still have a long life to live, even if you're in mid 30s like me, right? And if you're planning to do something, do it, right? What's going to happen? If you have that vigor to leave your job today and build a business, you will sustain because you will have nothing. You will have everything to lose and you'll do everything to not lose everything, right? And if you have a job and then it's paying you well, good lifestyle, don't look at people who are earning in millions and billions because they might not be happy, right? At all. So be thankful, create opportunities for you, gain knowledge beyond all this, stupid self help books. Wake up at 5 a.m., right? Sleep at 6 p.m. And then dip your head into or dip yourself into ice bath, right? It's gonna change your life. No, it's not gonna change your life. Probably you're gonna get sick, right? But yeah, if you feel like that's gonna help you, do it. See what results you're gonna get. But just make your life unique, like you are, and you will be successful in one way or another. That's my take on today. I just wanted to, just tell you stuff. And hopefully, I will try to, this was my channel back in the day when I used to, make a lot of travel videos. And I'm just reactivating it because I stopped making travel videos because I would not enjoy travel then. I wanted to see everything rather than shoot everything. And but this is nice. I can sit around and talk about stuff. That's nice. And if somebody wants to listen, that's great. So thank you for joining in. For everybody who did, have a nice day. I believe, stay happy, stay healthy. Don't worry, you're still young. You can still play football like me. And yeah, good luck to you and love yourself and all this, cheesy stuff. See you again. Bye.